Welcome to episode 23 of Should We Have Watched That?
I'm Soraya.
And I'm Amanda.
We saw HANS Disco Spectacular.
Spectacular.
With an umlaut over the A. I think that's what it is.
Umlaut.
Now Hans told us he is a little Berlin boy.
He lied.
I cannot say how, gaslit I felt when I draft the written reviews before we do the podcast, and then then we have the podcast, and then it's altered and then sent in to Perth Now, and I couldn't think of how to start Hans's review. And so I was just like, let's just find out more about him. Where's he from?
He's from where Sassa's from.
He's an Adelaide boy, which
who would have thunk? Not me.
I know that he's in drag. It's a character, but I actually just thought he was German.
Not gonna lie, me too. I think the accordion did it for me.
Yeah, piano accordion he nailed. It was amazing. But also makes me very quite proud for
Adelaide.
A Adelaide boy.
Turns out you can also learn the piano accordion in Adelaide.
Yeah. So this is, as it says, a disco spectacular. There was a huge amount of disco. It's very hard to be in a bad mood.
Yes.
With disco music playing.
It's true.
He was on stage with two
backup dancers.
Yep.
And 2 band members.
Which, Lucky Bitches are the names of the backup dancers. And I think Poor Bastards.
I don't think that's German either.
No, definitely not. Is the name of the
Poor Bastards.
The 2
band
musicians,
yeah. So this is presented by Watercooler Talent and the Harbour Agency. And this was a $48 to $95 show, and it goes for 60 minutes.
Yeah, so the $48 to $95 was based on seating. There's a few different classes that you can purchase. So, for instance, in the A Reserve is $85. The cabaret tables are $95. So if you, there's ample opportunity to bring in drinks before you arrive. You can buy a bottle and
we got
take it in with you.
Quite lucky that we got moved to the front row.
Yeah, this is without people knowing that we're reviewers. We did have a premium ticket, which is a $65 to $75 ticket, and we got bumped up to A Reserve.
Which quite nice.
Just because 2 people didn't show up. So that was really, really quite handy.
Yeah.
I liked it. It was lovely.
And we got to have a boogie at the end. Spoilers.
Yeah.
On stage with Hans. His backup dancers. We were his backup dancers by the end of it.
It's a bit more scary when you're up there and you don't know the choreography.
You're so right.
Yeah.
I also thought I was just getting in Hans's way.
Yes. Yeah.
I just wanted to play with the inflatable balls.
Yeah. That were thrown around so the audience could also participate in the fun.
That wasn't an innuendo.
No. Although Hans would be very pleased with an innuendo, I'm sure.
Hi, Hans, if you're listening.
So this was an audience participation show. 2 people in particular were brought up on stage, and they were definitely, how would you describe it?
Heterosexual. That's how Hans described it.
That's so fair. Hans may have gone out of his way to find the least gay,
straightest men
out
there. I forget their names.
But I feel like he
Roy?
He got the older gentleman's name wrong. I know that because he was behind us.
Yeah.
This man. Well, I say older gentleman. He's older than us. Probably in his early 50s.
Yeah.
I feel like he said his name and then Hans said the name wrong back to him. It's great, okay.
You're up.
Gary. It wasn't Gary. I loved his interaction with Marguerite.
I loved that too.
He chose one lady right at the start and just kept going back to her whenever he had a new story. He was like, now let me tell you something, Marguerite. Let me tell you.
Oh, Marguerite was beautiful. Don't know her, but she seemed like a doll.
She seemed like a delight. She was a good team player, and we've seen a lot of shows where people haven't really participated when they've been singled out in Well, it's not even singled out. It's just they happen to have chosen your seat. It's entirely chance related. But the amount of people that haven't participated or haven't wanted to like engage with the person they've paid money to come and see, it's really like disappointing. So Marguerite, we loved it.
We loved her.
Yeah.
Marguerite, you're a doll.
You're a star.
So, concept. Can we discuss this? Because I don't really... How do I put this into words? He kind of discusses that this is his biggest show in Perth, which is exciting because he had an accident.
Yes.
A fall.
A
7
fall...
metre? Something like crazy amount of...
I thought it was 4 meters.
Oh,
I mean, we
Hans.
can say 7 if you like to make it seem a little bit more. Yeah, all right. Hans, you fell 7 meters now. Sorry.
In Turkey on a cruise ship,
Yeah.
the orchestra pit wasn't supposed to be open or something like that.
The stage had moving parts, and
Yes.
one bit was supposed to be up and it was down, and his choreography took him to a particular area of the stage that was having a mishap.
Yes.
And so he stepped off into nothingness.
Yes.
And broke something in his back, his leg.
Yeah.
There was a news bulletin saying that he might not be able to walk again.
But let me tell you, he was walking. He was grooving.
Driving even.
Yeah, he was all over the place
Yeah.
in the best ways.
You could see that he wanted to do more, but he was obviously held back through his injury. He couldn't go as hard as he would have
probably
previously, which I would have liked to have seen. Like, I will have to look up now to see the difference between his physicality
before the
accident versus now.
Yeah. He was definitely a big personality, but
Yeah.
I think that's what made it a lot of fun. And obviously this persona that he is German and stuff like that as well.
Which allows him to play a little bit harder.
Yeah. So we had obviously moments where he was singing with his backup dancers and his band, the Lucky Bitches and the Poor Bastards.
Poor bastards.
And we also had moments of like screen time. So they had was it a screen? Was it a projector? I think it was a screen.
I think it was a screen.
That kind of went through his history, which was nice because I know nothing. I
hadn't heard of Hans.
Yeah, neither have I. But apparently he's been on
America's Got Talent, like All Stars.
Yes, multiple times.
Yeah, I think it was 3 times even.
Yeah,
perhaps.
and like toured internationally, and he's considered quite a big name.
Yeah.
Met other big names like Taika Waititi, obviously Simon Cowell.
The Wiggles.
Wiggles.
Who he was not allowed to take photos of and was a bit sneaky.
So he kind of introduced us to his history via kind of these screen moments, which was really nice as somebody who didn't know
anything about him.
Yeah, anything about him. But he was, like I said, a great persona, great character, great stage personality.
Yeah. And he used up the stage because the stage was the setup of it was essentially a catwalk.
Yeah, I was going to say catwalky.
And just needed the Y on that word. And he used the space, like all the space constantly. Like he was always moving unless it was like moving up and down that catwalk area unless he was doing backup dances with the backup dancers with the backup dancers.
The lucky bitches.
Yeah.
If they got lucky.
And then also he came down onto the audience floor.
He was not shy, let me tell you. He was ready to get in between like chairs, in between aisles. He was like, let me get in there.
He was dancing, like, not Grande, but like shoving his ass around in front of a man who was very clearly heterosexual and with his wife. And was like, go on, darling, you can touch whatever you like. And then meanwhile, the gentleman that he's backing up against is leaning very far back, and the wife leans over and like taps his bum a couple of times.
How funny. Yeah, so set we already discussed. It was very catwalky. We had the screen behind us. It was, and lighting and stuff, I would say that it was very put together and polished.
Yeah, very polished.
The lighting was beautiful. We had props where obviously the inflatable balls came out, the money gun.
Money gun was very fun.
It was all
Everyone went insane over this fake money. Like, people started coming up to try to grab this fake money that just had it's pink and it has Hans' face on it.
Speaking of...
And he was like, it's just fake money, guys.
Speaking of people going insane, at the beginning people were already standing up and trying to take photos of him.
Yeah, so at the start it shows on that screen that if you post a selfie and tag him, like someone wins something. And I think people took that too far.
Yeah. I think he did enjoy it, but at the same time...
It was slightly irritating.
Yeah.
It was messing up his set a bit.
And he was just kind of like, everyone calm down, like we do photos later.
Yeah. But in a fun way.
Yeah. He was very good at taming or putting the crowd in their place.
Yes.
In a rude way.
In a jokey way. Yeah.
But
firm but joking.
Still entertaining.
Still lighthearted.
Yeah.
Doesn't make you feel like shit for having tried to interact, but also know your place.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
I was going to say something.
Lighting?
Yes, I think that really shows how well Hans is doing, I reckon, just from the precision that was in the lighting. And I liked that he kept just talking directly to the lighting or tech crew. There was a guy called Tom, there were two guys called Tom, one that was on lights and one that was on sound. And he kept being like, oh, Tom, can we get the next one, darling? Can we for like screenshots? It was very sweet.
Oh, yes.
I thought that was a very personable touch. And I think that's probably why people like him so much.
Yeah. That
he is easily personable.
And in the moment.
Yeah.
I feel like. I think he forgot a dance move at one point and he was like, I forgot the dance moves to this or something. And he just rolls with it. But it's hilarious. Like, he was just a personality.
He was.
I would say, and it was very entertaining.
It was such easy content to watch, and you know all the songs already. I loved the polka. Mm-hmm. He made a German polka out of Australian classic pub songs. If you think it can't be done, somehow. You are correct. But he did do it. There were moments that I had no idea what he was singing, which Amanda doesn't know Australian pub songs, but as a pub song connoisseur, such as myself,
yes,
I was super in it. But then there was some that I was just like, what is this? Until he got to a riff or like the main chorus. It's like, oh, you don't realize how much you need the tune to be able to figure out what song it is. And
it was funny because you had the quintessential yellow and green lights flashing, and it was all very Australiana.
Meanwhile, he's on his piano accordion. Singing a polka.
He also had a beautiful piano moment as well.
Yeah.
Where he just was jiving.
Jamming on the grand piano. Elton John, eat your heart out. Which, he did say, the bitch is back, so I think he takes a lot of inspiration from Elton John. Yeah. Because that isn't, if you didn't know, it's an Elton John song. Know. There you go. Hi.
Well, it's me, naive Amanda. Okay, so favourite moment. Ooh. Gosh. I thought it was just all very entertaining, to be honest.
It was.
I think it would almost be where he got the two...
Yeah. I know.
Roy and Gary. Don't know if that's their names. I think
definitely not.
Definitely not
Gary.
The two heterosexual men who were very uncomfortable and dragged along to the show by their partners to get up, and they did this runway and dance
competition.
Competition against each other. And they had a full-on costume change.
Yeah.
They went out the back. They came out in their full-on costume change.
Which were ill-fitting.
And it was hilarious because one of the guys just had thongs on.
Yeah. They went for it though.
They did.
At one point Hans lay down. I think that was probably the favorite moment, that Hans was just surprised that this heterosexual man was being very...
saucy.
Not heterosexual towards Hans.
Yeah. That's actually true. I think that whole bit was a favourite moment, but probably if we're pinpointing it to that bit, then probably when Gary, maybe his name is, was on
Glenn
top of Hans.
Is Glenn. What he was saying. He kept saying Glenn, but I don't think it was Glenn. I think it was something else.
It was a G name.
Yeah. Could have been Gary. But it wasn't
Gary. Was on top of Hans and just essentially riding Hans.
Yeah. I think my favourite moment might have been, like, it's the little bits in between the acts where he would be, like, explaining that, cool, I'm going to go for a costume change. And the girls will entertain you. In his, German accent. Or not whatever the hell that was. And whenever he brought back Marguerite, whenever he riffed, like, because we went on a Tuesday night, and it was, so, like, an older crowd. And so he kept making all these old jokes.
Yeah. I think he asked something like who was, like, younger than, like, this isn't verbatim, but, like, who was younger than 30 or something, and then somebody whooped, and then who was older, and it was just, most of the whoops
it was massive.
It was, like, an 85% 50 plus crowd.
Yeah. Oh, there was a moment where someone, like, he said, everyone put your hands up, and, like, put your right hand up, and then one person did it really quickly, and he made, like, a Hitler joke, which I thought that was really funny. I especially thought it was funnier because I thought it was German.
Yeah. And also when we were doing the wave as a crowd, and he was like, guys, can you all move in one motion because you're making me seasick.
So I think his riffing or improv, because he did say that this show isn't scripted, and I hope that that's true, because
we found out recently that a lot of it is scripted.
Yeah, even if they tell us that it isn't,
it
just makes us feel a little bit.
Well, I mean, he's already a liar for telling us he's German.
Yeah.
So don't disappoint us again, Hans.
Come on, Hans.
But we believed you. We literally feel catfished.
Hans from Handorf.
What?
No, there's a place in South Australia called Handorf. It's like the German. We have a little Germany called Handorf, but he's. Anyway, sorry, that just popped into my head.
Never been to Adelaide, wouldn't know.
No.
3 words.
Alrighty.
I would say personality, entertainer, and that's not one word.
How many hyphens do we need to add?
1.
Oh, that's fine.
Multi-instrumental. Is that a word? I'll make it a word up. Yeah. Oh, God. Multi-instrumental.
Nice. Lovely. I love it. Mine would be glitter.
Yeah.
You. Well, I should have prepared this earlier. Huh?
Not all that glitters is gold, though, but he was gold.
I mean, he was pink.
He was pink. He wasn't gold. But he was also gold. You know what I'm saying?
I don't know what you're saying. I'm going to say faux, like F-A-U-X.
Oh, yeah.
Because we know about you now, Hans.
We're on to you.
I want a word like entertaining, but I want it to be a little bit more, like, refined than that. Or, like, more disco than that. I'm not saying it's a bad word. It's not.
Okay.
Wow, okay. I'm sorry. I didn't mean it like that. Do you know what? I'm going to go for a delight.
Oh,
Just delight, because it was.
So should we watch that? I reckon we should have.
Yeah. I had a good time. It was easily watchable. It was it was comfortable too.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I would say that tickets are quite spenny.
Yeah.
Just as someone who's graduated, but I think, these people in the crowd are obviously on their retirement funds.
Yeah, and they're doing fine.
They're doing fine.
They're doing all right.
But there's a Friends Frenzy ticket that was $34, so I feel like that's very doable.
It is, yeah.
And that would be a good time
for
that. I just don't... If we didn't get premium tickets and then got bumped up to a reserve, I don't think I would have paid $80.
Yeah, that's fair.
I
wonder also if we maybe would have paid $80 if it was a weekend, because the energy would be so much bigger. Like it's very difficult doing weekday shows, as we know.
Although I think you said we had a pretty good crowd for a Tuesday.
You did say that, but then I also wonder if they say that to every crowd.
You're so right. Just gotta hype them up.
Yeah.
I get it.
Get the audience on your side and then push them away later.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But I think we definitely should have watched that.
Yeah,
I think
it
that was
was-
a really fun time.
It was a really good start to the night because
Yeah.
it is quite early too. Like it's only 7, I think.
It was.
I believe it's 7. Oh, well then.
7,
Yeah.
And it was quite a large.
Yeah,
It was like
it's-
stadium-esque.
Yeah, it's a big venue.
Yeah. But yeah, I reckon we definitely should have watched that. It was great to kind of see him perform despite not knowing his history, but it was nice to get that background from him anyway.
And it was nice seeing a larger performer. Like I feel like we've, apart from maybe one,
Ruben.
yeah, we haven't really seen any like names. We've been more drawn to people that perhaps like
Bit more local.
yeah we haven't heard of before, that kind of thing. So yeah,
Well, that kind of wraps up today's episode.
does.
What are we watching next, Sass?
We're watching Bernie Dita's Club Cabaret, and guys, I'm excited.
Here we go. Big names, hey?
Big names, taken names.
We have been told this is top tier Fringe show. And it is the headliner. So we have high expectations, but we are very, very excited to review this one.
Yeah.
And this one's also from Germany.
Oh?
Probably actually from Germany.
Actually from Germany. Oh, gosh.
Well, thanks for listening, guys.
I've been Saraya.
And I'm Amanda. And we'll catch you in the next one.
Bye!